Good morning, everybody. Just as soon as I started fiddling with the camera, Leo comes in here and starts meowing and hopping up on my leg. Um, Maybe that's just how cats are. Okay, so I want to jump straight into this, what Arn and Carlos call the primrose blanket. I might call it the wildflower blanket because of all the different colors. It looks like such a vast assortment of different flowers, like wildflowers are in a field. And I have amassed a nice little group of these flowers, the first two rows, as you see here. They're pretty simple with a nice solid edge on them. And then when I had about, let me see, I must have had almost 50 of those. I started adding a third row because I thought that was what I should do next. And this is what those look like. And boy, I think that extra row really makes a difference. Now I do want to take you carefully through how to do what I've always called that picot border. That little point up there is 3 chain stitches is what makes that little point that you see here. Okay, now I'm going to hold this up really carefully because bless them, and Arn and Carlos are making patterns to sell, which is understandable because they're professionals. And so when they're putting these together and doing this third row, Arn is very fast about it. And even after listening and pausing, I couldn't tell. But as you see here, here's the post of the triple crochet here. And then here's the pairs of triple crochet here. And in between these pairs is where you're going to put this little contraption. This is 2 single crochets, 3 chains, and then 2 single crochets. And then you go immediately to the next one. There's nothing in between, so it kind of pinches the top of that and makes a little point. And it looks very pretty. And having those 3 chains there, now I hope this is one where I did this right. No, let me see. Maybe not. When I first was trying to figure out how to do this, because I didn't have a pattern and I couldn't find it online, I did 2 single crochets, a double crochet with a chain on the top, and then followed by 2 single crochets. And it gives you a lovely point. They look exactly the same, but it doesn't give you as much of an opening to join them with. So that's why I have now switched to the 3 chains. Okay. And I'll show you, I'll go through that in a second. And so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I had 8 of those done. And then I thought I would try to put them together. And this is where it gets a little challenging and where I had some trouble. Okay. So I started with this one. Let's just say I started with this one here. Okay. And all of them already had their third row. So this one, as I was doing the third row, I joined 2 of them here, and then I joined 2 of them here. But of course my problem was, since these already had their third row, I couldn't join them here. And I looked at that after I got done. I said, how am I gonna, I don't know, my poor little brain is not able to figure this out. So I was a little despairing. And then last night before I went to bed, I was like, I know I do have enough brain to figure this out. I will figure out a way. So as I was looking at it, I thought, well, clearly, as I'm going around adding the third row to this blue one, I can't do this. It's not going to connect here if these are already done, if these already have their third rows. So what I decided I had to do was to connect to 1 here, skip 2, connect to another finished flower here, skip 2 more, and connect to a third finished flower here. Okay. Now, this may not be how other people do it. I don't know. I couldn't find, a video telling exactly how to do this. But if you do it that way, then you can come back in and add this one. As you're adding the third row on this one, you pick up all of these. Okay. So if you leave a spot in the middle here, you can insert one afterward. And I'm going to try to continue that as I go along, always leaving, like now I've got a spot here that I can stick one in. So you're leaving a spot with 6 attachments, and so I could say put one there, Well, actually, I would need to take one that didn't have a finished. So if I put one there as I added it, I would attach it to these. I'm also going to show you how to do that attaching today. That's the easy part. And doing all the different crochet flowers with their rows, that's the easy part too. The hard part is trying to wrap your brain around how to attach them all. Now in their video, Arn and Carlos were doing clumps of flowers, just groups of flowers, kind of like this one. And they had a whole bunch of those, and they were laying them out and kind of trying to figure out the design they wanted. I'm trying to make mine all different. I'm trying to go for dark color, dark color, or light, dark, light, okay, to have plenty of contrast. And then try not to get any outside colors against each other that are identical. Like I would try not to have a yellow here or another red here. Why Arn and Carlos throw down the different groups of flowers, I don't know. And then if you look carefully at their video, and I will put a link here to that, you can see how they put the two groups together and then they insert unfinished flowers, and I guess that they use the unfinished flower to join the bigger groups together, which could be a great idea. If I get to a point where I can't do any more on this one somehow, for some reason, because of how they're joined, then I'll know it's time to stop on this group and start another one. I've never done this before. And I don't know how they do their attaching. He does it so fast, I couldn't figure it out. So I'm doing it in the way that I saw another girl do, and I'll attach an iCard here for that. And also somewhere in here, I'll put an iCard for my first video working on these. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this down and try to, let me see. Yeah, I'll try to insert one of these. How about that? Okay. Okay, now I've put this little piece of washi tape here so that I'll remember where to put my hands so that you can see what's going on. I hope I don't move it. That would be terrible. Okay, I thought I would put, see, I was just about to move it. I put this one here, okay, and as I want a light color out here, I thought I would do a pink. I'm going to have lots of pink. That's just how it's going to be. Okay, now I was doing this last night. I hope I can remember. Okay, so we're going to attach the new color to the old color. I have to do that. I have to press it down on a table so I can get it nice and tight. Okay, now I want to keep this pink tie available for later, so I'm going to include, weave in this blue as I go. Now, you want to give yourself a little bit of a, you see what I did there? Just whoosh, okay? And then you're going to go underneath and grab it and pull through. Now let me check and make sure the camera is, every stitch is harder when you're videotaping yourself. Oh, I need to move down some. Okay, so there's my first single crochet. Go under, pull it through. There's your second one, okay? Good, that's a good spot. Okay, now I'm going to do a chain. And let me just go through some of these first before we start attaching. And then another chain, and then another chain. Now that's the picot border, and that's useful in all kinds of things. I love that border on the edge of a blanket. I put this border around my mitered square blanket, and it looked really nice. And you can do as many of those chains as you like to give that little, just slightly pointed effect. Okay, so 2 single crochets, 3 chains, 2 single crochets. Then I'm going to go into the next open spot and do a single. Now again, I'm still including this tail. A single. And notice how when you do a single crochet, you don't loop before you go under. 1, 2, 3. And then here's another single. Now, some of you have been crocheting all your lives and you don't need all this. So just fast forward or something. or go make a cup of tea. All right, so there's my next group of 2 singles, 3 chains, 2 singles. Then I go into the next open spot, single, single. Let me check my camera. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Try to turn it this way. 1, 2, 3. Single. Okay, before I get too carried away here, I better start joining to something. All right, now I have probably worked with this little tail as long as I need to. It's well woven in, so I can just snip it off. And that's one thing that Art and Carlos mentioned, was that the part that everybody hates in crocheting a blanket like this is weaving in the ends at the very end. There's hundreds of them. You don't have to do that. You can weave them in as you go, and it's so much better. Okay, now in the next little open spot, I'm going to line this up with this point here. I have 2 points before the joins that already exist, and I want to put this here. So I'm going to do single, single, do my first chain, get this one. Now, got to find the point, stick it through there. Now this is where it's really not, you don't have to do this tight, tight, tight as you're working on it. Just grab it, pull it through, and then tighten it afterward. Okay, that works well. And then, so that's your middle chain. Now you do your third chain. Okay, and then you do 2 singles. Now it's going to feel kind of floppy. That's all right. Can you still see? Okay. Now I'm going to join the next, because you join in pairs. 2 points. Go, Leo. You hear him down there? Whine, whine, whine. Okay. So I just did 2 singles. Do 1 chain, Leo. Go through this. Let me show. Are you seeing this? Through this point. Yes, dear, I hear you. I hear you squawking. Okay. You use the second chain to attach it, and you pull it tight, and then you do a third chain. And then you finish off that little open spot with 2 singles. Now I hope that you're able to see what's going on here. Now let's look at it laid out. Okay, let's get the hook out of the way. Whoa. It doesn't scare me to lose a stitch in crochet like it does in oh, let's get this up where you can see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I've got these 2 attached. Now when I do my next 2, I'll attach it here, and then when I do the next 2, I'll attach it here. This also has an effect of kind of tightening this up. It really does a good job. I'm liking this so much. And then I'll now I won't attach another one here. I probably should have left some of this vacant so that maybe that's Yes, I'm learning as I go. See, I have made it so I'm going to have to put in a new one here to attach this. That's fine. Maybe this is the reason why you end up with groupings where you can't go any further, because I may have limited myself. If I'm going to finish this off, I've probably limited myself somehow here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and join to this dark blue one and join to this pink one. These pinks are slightly different. This is a darker shiny pink, and this is slightly lighter. So I think that that'll be fun to see that contrast there too. All right, so I'll just, if you want to watch this, you can. If you're sick of watching me try to make this work, go make a cup of tea again. All right. Two chains. Boom. Now this one has the 3 chains, so I'm going to go like that. It really is just a little bit easier. 1 chain, 2 singles. It feels a little chaotic while you're doing it, but then when you're done, oh, it looks so good. Okay, now we'll do the second one with that flower, attaching to that flower. Whoop. 1 chain, no, 1 single, 2 single, chain, See, this is one that I did correctly with the 3 chains here, and see what a nice big opening that is. So you just put it in, yarn over, loop over, pull it through, then do your 3rd chain, and it's nice and secure. Can you see? I hope you can see. It's a little shadowy. Okay, and 2 more single crochets. Now I've attached to that one. Now I'm going to attach to this one. So now let's look at it. Now I have successfully inserted, let me move it up a little bit. I have successfully inserted this one into these. Now I could go ahead and finish this. Yeah, I better do that because I can't really place another one here. Well, I could if yeah, let me go ahead and finish this off. I'm still learning, like I said. Okay. So I'll finish this one off and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, now I'll come all the way around, and what you want to do to tidy up this end is to, okay, can you see? Oh, nope, let me lower it down. What you want to do to tidy up this end is to insert your hook into that first stitch, pull through your existing loop, cut that off. That's a little teeny piece of yarn. Oh, nope. Pull it through, and then just tie these off together like that. Okay. Now ideally, as I'm going along, I should be working those into my blanket. Maybe I need to start focusing on that. Okay, so I really like the look of this. You know, I'm part of a prayer shawl group at a local church. It's not my church, but I love going there with the ladies when I'm able to. And I'm wondering if a throw like this would be a fun prayer shawl pattern. Some of the others just get so a little boring to knit or crochet row after row after row. This is so different. It's a great use of scrap yarn. So I could ask all the ladies for their scrap yarn and make this, and then sewing them up together is not really that hard. I just need to get the knack of it. So if I discover that I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about with this, I'll let you know. Obviously, the next one I'm going to put in will be right here, and then I'll put one in here, and then I'll put one in here, and we'll see how it grows. Okay, I'll get back to you on this. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you give it a try. Isn't that fun? Now, as I proceed in this little blanket, I just wanted to show you this thought. I was wondering if I should finish it off. I was like, well, yeah, I think I should. But if I put a new one here that I've already done, as I go around, that'll give me another empty spot here and another empty spot here to put new ones. So if I'm careful and think ahead, I could probably do this blanket all in one piece, which I'd love to do instead of trying to patch it together later. Yeah, I like that idea. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the third row of this, and when I get to these 2 points, I'm going to attach it here. And then I'll put a new one here and attach it 3 ways, and a new one here and attach it 3 ways. I think the key is when you're making a center one to attach it, to leave spots for new ones. All right. Okay, one last little quick one here to show you how I did this. I went around here, finished here and tied it off, and attached these 2 on the way. Now I could take one like this maybe, find a light color, and start it up and attach it in 3 spots as I go around. And then another one over here. And then I have one more finished one, and these ones I guess I can attach in this manner. to give the open spot to put new ones in. And Mr. Sparky is guarding the daffodils. They're all beautiful, but I've got a lot that are doubles like that, and they are just gorgeous. I wanted a little happiness on the back deck, so I went to my local nursery and bought that beautiful ceramic pot. It has a little pattern on it, if you can see that. And then this pot I've had for like 30 years or more. It's a McCoy pot. It's got a big crack in it. It doesn't have drainage on the bottom though. A house we lived in many years ago had a busted greenhouse. All the glass panels had fallen in, but this was in it. So the other day I went to Walmart and I bought these lovely little irises for $1.37 for a little pack. I got 4 packs. I put 2.5 packs in this pot and 1.5 packs in that pot, and they have just cheered up the back deck in this gorgeous weather. That pot in the middle, that was a teacher present to Adam. It had tulips in it that were very pretty, but they are asleep now. We're gonna have to put them in the ground somewhere, I guess. So, well, look what's happening here. This is our Japanese magnolia tree. The little buds start looking like this, and then like this, and then they look like this. Aren't they gorgeous? Quite windy today. But this tree will be a mass of blooms very soon. My forsythia bush is blooming too. It's just starting. So, so pretty. I love to put these in little arrangements. And I started 3 forsythias off of this bush. I put some in an arrangement and just left them in the water, and eventually they rooted. It took months, but they did root. I've got another one down there that I think was a volunteer, and then I've got one way up front right there. It's a good size now, and I did root that one. And then on the other side of the house, I've got one there. This is one of those little ones that I rooted. And here, you can see it's green there. And then another one here that's the smallest one, but it's got a nice tall stem. There's a lonely daffodil back there. Got lots of bulbs coming up here. Of course, there's lots of weeds too. And our lawnmower is supposed to come back today. Our rosemary is blooming. I've been wondering about some of the pecans still on the ground because they've been rained on, flooded over and over. So I picked up one that looked a little sketchy. Didn't have a hole in it, but the shell was kind of pale and sun bleached. And I just wondered if it would be rotten on the inside from getting too wet. But instead, I find this beautiful pecan. That's quite encouraging. Look what Adam is cooking today on the grill. Oh boy, that looks so good, and I am so hungry.